Thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome to this celebration of the life of Arthur Charles Hilton. My name is Derek Duncan and I'm an independent funeral celebrant. It's my great honour to lead this service on behalf of Mark and Claire and the rest of the family this afternoon. We welcome you if you're joining us here in person at the chapel at Morton Hall, or indeed if you're outside the chapel at Morton Hall, or you are joining us via the live stream of the service. It's lovely to see so many of you here today to support the family. This is a busy service, and Arthur's long life, and more importantly, the way he lived it, means that there's a lot of story to be told. So I'm delighted that Arthur's grandson, Matthew, will speak to us in a little while, as will Lynn, a good friend of the family. Their contributions and all the hard work that Mark and Claire have put into the tribute and to planning this service means that it is deeply meaningful and is a personal celebration of Arthur's life. We are here because we loved Arthur, and we're here because Arthur loved us. We begin our service by singing together the hymn, Lead Us, Heavenly Father, Lead Us. The words are printed in the Order of Service booklets. If you don't have an Order of Service booklet, the words will also appear on the screen. And if we are able, we stand to sing. Please stand. Please be seated. That song was a special song sung at Arthur and Dorothy's wedding. I share with you now, at the family's request, the story of the dragonfly. Once, in a little pond, in the muddy water under the lily pads, there lived a water beetle in a community of water beetles. They lived a simple and comfortable life in the pond. Once in a while, sadness would come to the community when one of their fellow beetles would climb the stem of a lily pad and would never be seen again. They knew when this happened, their friend was dead, gone forever. Then one day, one little water beetle felt an irresistible urge to climb up that stem. However, He was determined that he would not leave forever. He would come back and tell his friends what he had found at the top. When he reached the top and climbed out of the water onto the surface of the lily pad, he was so tired and the sun felt so warm that he decided to take a nap. As he slept, his body changed, and when he woke up, he had turned into a beautiful blue-tailed dragonfly with broad wings and a slender body designed for flying. So fly he did. And he soared. He saw the beauty of a whole new world and a far superior way of life to what he had ever known existed. Then he remembered his beetle friends and how they were thinking by now that he was dead. He wanted to go back to tell them and explain to them that he was now more alive than he had ever been before. His life had been fulfilled rather than ended. But his new body would not go down into the water. He could not go back to tell his friends the good news. But he understood that their time would come when they too would know what he now knew. So he raised his wings and flew off into his joyous new life. Arthur Charles Hilton and his twin brother Bob were born on April the 13th, 1933, to his proud parents, Arthur and Lottie. He attended Colinton Primary before moving on to George Watson's College in 1943, and the twins' close bond and identical appearance made for plenty of entertaining stories over the years, often involving mistaken identities. Both of them remembered letting off a firework in the garage when they were younger, and their dad, Arthur Sr., who was in the garage at the time, came out in a billow of smoke and a little bit confused. In 1949, at 16 years of age, Arthur joined the British Linen Bank in Edinburgh. He had 2 years there when he and Bob were called up for national service. Arthur would speak fondly of the friendships that they made during their time of square bashing and training in the RAF. Arthur was in technical control, but he didn't really have a technical bone in his body and didn't know what the job entailed. In 1958, he embarked on a much-remembered European holiday with his cousin Chris. Chris isn't able to attend in person today, but sends his love. After completing national service, Arthur returned to Edinburgh to continue his career in banking. By the late 1950s, he had moved to Lovedale Road in Balerno before emigrating to Curry. And it was in Curry that he met Dorothy. They married on the 18th of July 1959 at Balerno Episcopal Church, their honeymoon taking them to the balmy climes of Dunoon. Living on Riccarton Mains Road, Mark was born in 1965, Claire arrived in 1968, and in 1968 the couple also moved the long miles to Riccarton Crescent. Family holidays were to Arran and Mull and Skye and other such places. Mark loved those family holidays, Claire a little less so. She had to be appeased with regular trips to gift shops. Arthur rose through the ranks of the Bank of Scotland and was manager in a number of different Edinburgh branches. He was a well-respected and much-loved manager and was proud to have studied for 6 years to gain letters after his name. He foiled 3 robbery attempts during his career. And the most notable incident occurred in 1975 when 2 men attempted to rob the Abbey Hill branch using stolen travellers' cheques. Arthur, along with another bank officer, cleverly distracted the robbers, leading to their apprehension. His quick thinking and his courage prevented crime, earning him recognition at a national reception in Edinburgh, celebrating individuals who supported law enforcement and public safety. In the mid-80s, Arthur was presented with a certificate of outstanding assistance given to the police and the community, and this was given to him by George Younger, then the Secretary of State for Scotland. Dorothy passed away in 1991 after 31 years of marriage. It was a huge blow to Arthur, but he vowed that he would pour all of his energy into his family. In 2003, Claire's son Matthew was born, and thus began a very special relationship. Arthur was always very proud of his family, and his aim was to make it to Matthew's graduation later this year. Sadly, he won't be there, but the family have made a promise to celebrate at his favourite place. So Matthew, you have to graduate. No pressure. Claire was very much a daddy's girl. She'll miss spending time with him. They used to meet for breakfast and he'd take her shopping, and she would always get something for her wardrobe. And when Matthew came along, those shopping trips became Morningside and the Jenner's toy department. They enjoyed Sunday lunches at his favourite of One Square or at the Riccarton Arms. And after parting company, Claire would always get a phone call approximately 2 minutes after leaving Arthur. She and Matthew used to lay bets on exactly how quickly that call would come in. It was very frustrating at times, but how Claire would love that call now. On a family holiday many years ago, Arthur and Mark and Claire left Gatwick on an 8-hour journey to Jamaica. The only in-flight entertainment, according to Mark, was watching Claire puffing her way through 20 Silk Cut. The first morning was overcast, with Arthur commenting that he travelled all the way for the same weather as it was back in the UK. A few hours later, with bright pink legs, Arthur was wishing that he had used the sunscreen after all. A kind local wandered past and offered to source a miracle cure to ease the discomfort for just a small fee. After Arthur had handed over a wedge of notes, the Good Samaritan was seen pulling up a few weeds from the back of the hotel and telling Arthur to gently apply that to his legs. Needless to say, this magical herbal remedy didn't make any difference at all to Arthur's blistering legs, while the crafty opportunist disappeared into the distance, never to be seen again, celebrating his ill-gotten gains. In 2011, Arthur was nominated for a community award for his efforts in collecting and disposing of litter and keeping Clarence informed of any remedial work needed on the roads of Curry. Now, if you live out in that direction, there is a heck of a lot of remedial work needed. Arthur must have had a full-time job, I think, with Clarence. He enjoyed his luxury hotel breaks with his family at hotels scattered throughout Scotland. He loved his Sunday lunches at the Sheraton, the George and the Marine in North Berwick, where he also got to play snooker with his brother, cousins and friends. In 2015, he became a lifelong member of Babberton Golf Club. His passion for golf spanned more than 5 decades, and he was also social convener at the club for many years, successfully arranging a wide variety of entertainment, enjoyment and fun for all of the members. Beyond golf, Arthur's sense of humour, highlighted by his penchant for terrible jokes and his friendly chats with neighbours, made him a much beloved figure in the community. I'm going to try out one of his very favourite jokes. He could never fulfil his ambition to become a carpet fitter, as you needed a certain flair for that. Arthur loved, as we can see on the Order of Service booklet, sitting in his back garden with a cigar on his cigar bench. His life was defined by kindness, courage, and a selfless dedication to others. He leaves behind a legacy of love, laughter and service to his community, showing us all the enduring power of a life lived with purpose and heart. I invite Matthew and then Lynn forward to speak their words in tribute to Arthur.
Thank you, Derek, for those really kind words. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here today as we celebrate the life of my granddad, Arthur Charles Hilton. We gather not only to mourn his passing, but to remember a man who lived with immense kindness, courage, and unwavering dedication to his family, friends, and community. Today I want to share a few words that reflect the extraordinary life that he led and the lessons that he taught us. On our countless walks home from school, after testing me on various capital cities of the world, he would often remind me of two school mottos. The first being Ex Corde Caritas, meaning love from the heart, from him and Bob's school, and my school motto, Distribute Cheerfully. At this time, when the only thing on my mind was what comic book I was going to convince him to get me, I didn't realise the significance of the lessons that he was teaching me. Arthur didn't just believe in loving from the heart, he lived it in every single day. Whether it was stopping to talk to a neighbour, helping a stranger, or supporting his family. He taught me that love isn't about grand gestures, it's about small, everyday acts of kindness that brighten up someone's day. If Grandad taught me to love deeply, he also taught me to give freely. He had an incredible ability to give without ever expecting anything back. Whether it's picking up litter around Curry, sweeping the streets of Marchmont, or leading a helping hand to anyone in need. He poured his time and energy into every act of kindness. Grandad believed in the joy of giving, and his cheerful spirit was infectious. Even into his 90s, he remained active in the community, giving back with a lightness and joy that inspired everyone around him. Looking back on those walks, and I realised that Grandad wasn't simply passing time, he was teaching me how to live a meaningful life. Through his actions, he showed me the true power of the values he held dear, love from the heart and distribute cheerfully. Grandad proved that these mottos weren't just words to recite, they were a way to live. He taught me the small acts of kindness, paired with a cheerful willingness to give, can truly make the world a better place. Grandad, thank you for teaching me what it means to love deeply, to give freely, and to live with purpose. Though you are no longer with us, your lessons will walk with me every step of the way. So today, as we honour his memory, I ask each one of you to carry a piece of Arthur's legacy with you. Love deeply, give cheerfully, and find joy in the small acts of kindness that brighten someone's day. Let's honour him by living the way that he taught us, making the world just a little bit better, one thoughtful act at a time.
That's a hard act to follow, Matthew. I'm honoured to say a few words today and would like to thank the family for allowing me to pay tribute to the life of Arthur Charles Hilton. I'm Lynn, a lifelong friend of Claire, Arthur's daughter, and I'm grateful to have known Arthur as Claire's dad for over 45 years. Arthur was loved by many, and our thoughts today are with the family and friends who were privileged to also have known him. You may know the poem by Linda Ellis called The Dash, where the dash represents the symbol for the time spent between life and death. Arthur's dash was 91 incredible years and was a life well lived, and I'm sure we've all got lots of memories of the time that we spent with him. We will remember Arthur's wicked sense of humour and his fabulous storytelling. He could have you mesmerised, often jaw-droppingly so, until it dawned on you that he's actually pulling your leg. Did he love to share his stories, always told with a twinkle in his eye and an infectious laugh when he realised he had got you. As Matthew mentioned, we can't think of Arthur without remembering the impact he had on the local community. He really was what you would call a well-kent face. Once you met him, you would always remember him, and he would always remember you. Such was his love of the local community, he really went above and beyond in doing what he could to make sure that it looked its best. You might have met Arthur when he would be picking up his daily newspaper at R.S. McCall's, or from walking the streets of Curry, where he would be seen with his bucket and his brush in hand, ready to go and scrub graffiti from a local building. Many of Arthur's stories were related to politics, or more specifically, his disdain for politics. I do suspect that the Royal Mail postage stamp profits will take a dip, and whoever delivered mail to the SNP headquarters or the House of Commons is going to have a considerably lighter mailbag now. At the end of the day, Arthur was and always will be much loved by all who knew him. But I would be remiss today if I didn't make a special mention of Matthew, his beloved grandson and truly the apple of his eye. Grandad loved nothing more than spending time with Matthew, and Matthew really did learn from the best and has memories to last a lifetime. Going back to the poem The Dash, Litch remembers Arthur's dash of 91 years with love, gratitude and humour, as I'm sure that is how he would want to be remembered. He was a rarity, a true gentleman, and he will be sorely missed. I'd like to thank the family once again for allowing me to share a few memories with you today.
Thank you, Matthew and Lynn. And one of the remarkable things about funerals in the 21st century is that we are allowed to give people a round of applause if they speak really well. So thank you. Each of us will have our own unique and special memories of Arthur. We're going to spend some time with those memories. As we do so, some treasured family memories will be shown on the screen, and we listen to Highland Cathedral by André Roux. We are thankful for Arthur's long and happy life. We are thankful for the love he shared with Dorothy and with Mark, Claire, Matthew, and the wider family. We are thankful for all that Arthur achieved in his long career with the bank. We are thankful for his strong sense of right and wrong and for how he actioned that within his family, his friendships, and the wider community. Most of all, we are thankful that we got to know and to love Arthur, and that Arthur in turn got to know and to love us. We come now to the point in our service where we must say our final goodbye to Arthur. Please stand if you are able. Arthur, go now. Go and be one with the winds and the stars and the warmth of the sun. Go in peace. Go in love. Go now. Go and be one with the seeds and the trees and the flowers that blossom. Go in peace. Go in love. Go now. Go with your hopes, with your wonder, with your questions. Go in peace. Go in love. Go now, Arthur. Go and be one with all that is and all that will be. Go in peace. Go in love. Please be seated. That brings us to the end of this celebration of Arthur's life. We thank Billy and the staff here at Morton Hall for conducting their duties in such a professional manner. We thank Ian and Jamie and Tracy and all at William Purvis Funeral Directors for their care and attention to detail. The family would like to thank the GPs at the Pentlands Medical Centre. They'd also like to thank the carers and Marie Curie. And they thank you all for the many kind expressions of sympathy that they have received. Special thanks to Jim, Jimmy and Alison. There's an opportunity to donate in loving memory of Arthur to the important work of Marie Curie as you leave the chapel. And the family warmly invite you back to join them for refreshments and, more importantly, to continue to celebrate Arthur's life at the Rickerton Arms in Curry, one of his favourite places. Full address details are on the back of the Order of Service booklets. Robert Burns wrote these words in honour of a friend of his from Tarbolton. And when I met with Mark and Claire, they seemed to speak to all of us about Arthur and, more importantly, about the kind of man that he was. An honest man here lies at rest, as ere God with his image blessed, the friend of man, the friend of truth, the friend of age and guide of youth. Few hearts like his we virtue warmed, few heads with knowledge so informed. If there's another world, he lives in bliss. If there's none, he made the best of this.
After